All right, so StreamYard, let me know that I'm live. Now I just gotta wait for YouTube to let you know that I'm live, and then we can officially begin today's podcast, which will be episode 78. Oh my lord, they are just rolling. I mean, rolling along this week, and the YouTube notification has just gone out, which means that all of you all should now know that we are live. Oh yeah, let me put the tweet out real quick. Get some people, more people up in here if they want to rock and roll. Come hang out with me and Greggles, and then we will go to work here and do what we do on this podcast. I see we got a bunch of you all in the chat. So hello, how you all doing? I appreciate you all rocking and stopping by as you usually do. Definitely appreciate. All right, so we got 8-9 people. We'll give another minute or two for people to file in if they want to watch, hang, and then we'll just we'll begin. Should be a nice, fun conversation with my man GregglesTV today. Just be aware that this is the first of 2 podcasts that I will be on today. Later on tonight, I will be resuming my co-hosting duties on the Painfully Honest Tech podcast, which begins at 8 p.m. Eastern over on the Painfully Honest Tech YouTube channel. So make sure you come hang with us on the Painfully Honest Tech podcast later on. If you just can't get enough Viper, if you just can't get enough Viper in your life, you should probably come hang out later on for the Painfully Honest Tech podcast, especially considering we got guests over there tonight too. So gonna be live, but we got work to do here. All right, we got 11 people in the chat. Let me go to work. So this is VypDrive, episode 78, and with episode 78 brings one of the most authentic tech creators to the platform. I got tech news reporter, tech reviewer, tech analyst, GregglesTV on deck. So VypDrive starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And as I just alluded to in my introduction, I have tech news reporter, news analyst, Mr. Tech Everything himself, GregglesTV is in the building. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Woo! What's up? What's up, man? How are you? Thanks for having me.
I floored him, man. I floored him. He doesn't know what to do now. I floored him, y'all.
And my heart's like.
I'm good, man. How you doing over there today?
I'm really good. It's hot in my office. There's no AC in here, so it's like and the sun beats in right at this time. But otherwise, I'm good.
All right. So you are on the West Coast, correct?
Yeah, San Diego, California.
Oh,
been here since 2004. I'm from Massachusetts originally.
Okay, no wonder you over there in Diego. Yeah. You're gonna be hot over there. You're gonna be a little hot over there, no doubt.
Yep.
All right,
sunny.
So before I go anywhere with you, I asked you this question on Twitter, I think a while back, but I just want you to explain it to my listener because I just think it's unique. But we got to talk about the origin of the name Greggles.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess when I met my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. I met her in like 2009-ish. I think, 2009. Yeah, 2009, 2010. And it's just a nickname from her. She would call me Greggles. I don't know. There's really not much more to it. So then once I eventually started a YouTube channel, I ended up using Greggles, and that's because I couldn't think of anything else. So that's kind of how it originated.
No doubt. And man, I stuck, man. Here you are, 70-some thousand subscribers later, and your GregglesTV getting it done.
Exactly.
Carl, thank you for the support, Carl. I appreciate the super chat, sir. Always appreciate you stopping by and supporting. So I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked everybody else who comes on here for the first time. What brought you to YouTube?
Probably the same as most people. Like I saw C Kids, I think was that yesterday, and it's very similar. So I started because, well, actually, just to go back a little bit, I actually was on YouTube, not for tech, but just like stupid random videos with no direction when it like originally came out. And I'd have videos that got like 50,000 views or 100,000 views, but I didn't have many subscribers, maybe like 300 subscribers or whatever. So I had no direction. I was doing that, but eventually in 20, I think it was 15 or 2016, I started like a video game channel, It was called GregglesTV and Dan, or Greggles and Dan actually. And we started video game thing. We were getting no views. I was getting like literally 3 views. And that was from us checking out our own video. No views at all. And then he kind of got lazy and didn't really put out content with me. And I started doing everything on my own. And eventually I ended up getting a NVIDIA Shield console. And I ended up doing that. And that's how I kind of got my initial growth. And I built off of that. But to answer, I didn't even answer a question. The reason I started the YouTube channel is because I was always the person that, like, my family would ask me tech questions. And they'd be like, oh, why don't you do your own tech channel or YouTube channel? And my channel you probably don't even get from it, but I'm kind of not wild, but I'm kind of a weird guy. So I don't know. People would always be like, oh, why don't you do videos? And I don't know. This was easier to do than just doing random kind of funny stuff. And I love tech, so it was a perfect mix.
Hey, absolutely, man. I think that's why most of us start these YouTube channels, at least most of us in tech anyway, because we love tech. But I'm curious as to your chosen niche or whatever. I don't even know if I can identify your niche right off the top. I know you're really big into Samsung, but yeah. I don't know if I can say that that's your chosen area of expertise. Or what would you say is your chosen niche or subject area?
That I know. I would say it's Samsung because that's mostly. I could put any video up. I could put a video up of TCL, and one of my viewers is going to be like, "Did you hear about Samsung new update?" Like in those comments, like so. I would say it's probably Samsung, but I like to do a little bit of everything. I'll do smart home stuff. I'll do any phone. I'll do Samsung. I'll do Apple, but generally it's a lot of Samsung stuff. But I'm kind of trying to. This year, I've kind of made more of a conscious effort to do more longer form videos. A lot of the time, I'll just do these, 3-4 minute videos, sometimes less. And so I do that. But now I'm trying to do a lot more comparison type videos as well. And then beyond that, obviously, I do a tech news show every single day, 7 days a week, where I talk mostly about Samsung, but I will include other, Apple and other tech products as well. So it's a mixture of tech news, and then the other stuff is like walkthroughs and reviews.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that next. You put up 2 videos per day usually. Wow. That is a lot of work for a creator to upload 2 videos every day.
Yeah.
What led you to that decision? Why do you do that?
That's a good question. Well, part of the reason is to keep myself motivated, because I feel like it's just like working out in a way. Like not that I only walk, that's my workout, but like if I don't do something every single day, I feel like I'm just going to stop and I'll get lazy. And I'll be like, you know what? I'll take a day off. I'll take another day off. I'll take another day off. So that's why I do the videos every day. Plus, I love doing it. And plus, I don't know, it sounds crazy, 2 videos a day, but I've created this format that it doesn't completely overwhelm me. And I have videos in the can. The tech news video I have to do every day because that changes every day. But like, the video I released at like 2:00 in the morning, which is like a review or a walkthrough, I have those in the can. Like right now, I have like 5 or 6 of those videos already recorded. So if I got sick, didn't feel like doing a video that specific time, I have them in the can. I can just release them.
Wow.
So yeah.
Let me just say, coming from a person who tries to upload 3 to 4 videos a week, doing 2 a day is next to incredible, man. Salute to you. You get all my salute because that's an undertaking that you got going on over there. But you get it done every single day, man.
Yeah, I simplify it too. I mean, like some people, like you look at Marquez or anybody that like those guys, people that are huge. They have put a lot more effort in terms of like getting this angle and that angle and this. That's not me. I would be completely bored and I'd be like, oh, I hate this. I wouldn't want to make videos. I just want to make it simple. I want to get my content out. I want to be precise. I want to give something that people want to know and learn or want to see. And that's what I do. Whatever. I can't shoot like them. It would bore me to tears.
For the record, I think he just confused and put me and Marquez in the same sentence. Me and Marquez we're not in the same sentence. I am not a huge YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination. I do not work on those cinematic camera shots like that. Although I will shoot some B-roll every now and then, but I'm pretty simple. Yeah. I'm point and shoot, talking head, good to go.
I should also mention, I don't know about you, but I don't really watch a lot of television. I watch YouTube, but generally my fun is like just making videos, hanging out with my son, my wife. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'm like, even when I'm watching TV, I'm usually making videos or editing a video or something. Like even before I called you, I was editing a video. So I'm always editing a video or recording.
So you're always working. I mean, that's the way to be. As creators, we really constantly have to always be working. That's pretty much how we're wired. Especially if you want to maintain and stay relevant on YouTube, you got to keep working. You can't really stop.
Exactly, for sure.
So I'm curious. I don't know if there was ever a time where you shot just one video a day or just one video, but if there was a time when you made the switch to doing 2 videos a day, did you see like a change in your YouTube growth because of the fact that you shoot 2 videos a day, or has it made like very little to no difference?
Honestly, I don't even remember if I don't remember. I'm trying to think back why. Well, I know why I did start doing it, because I wanted to do the tech. I was already doing the tech news thing. I was like, I'm going to do this every day. No one's really doing tech news every single day, or at least mobile news every day. Some people would do it like 5 days a week or a few days a week, but generally nobody was doing it. At least maybe they do it now, but no one does it every day or a week. At least they didn't do it 3 years ago that I knew. So I did that, and then I was like, well, I also want to release a video that's, again, a walkthrough or a tech review. And then I'm like, well, I do this. I was already doing those videos every single day, so I was like, oh, I'll just do 2 a day. I'll do 1 in the morning, and then 1 later in the morning, or 1 in the early afternoon, or something like that. So that's kind of why I started. But in terms of growth and stuff, I don't think I saw a huge amount of growth. It's been pretty steady, like the growth. Occasionally I'll get a pop here or there, but generally it's just steady. It's almost like this. It's growing, but the growth is like this. It's really like that. I guess the only thing more, I make more money because I'm putting out more content, but which obviously is nice because this is my only income. I don't have a real job. So other than that, yeah, this is what I do. So whatever. It's
for the record, people, for those of y'all watching and those of y'all listening on audio only, what he does is a real job. Don't let him fool you. What we do is a lot of work. Most people can't do what we do. So the fact that he's able to do it and do it full time and keep doing it is a real job. I don't want to hear this real job nonsense. It's definitely a real job. All right, so let's get into the nerdy part of this podcast. So, oh man, where do I begin with this? So first, I want to say that I watched part 1 of your interview with Ross Young. For those of y'all that don't know who Ross Young is, he is the founder of Display Supply Chain Consultants. No, Display Supply Chain Consultants. He's the guy that's been he's the guy that's been leaking all the Samsung Note 20 and Galaxy Fold news lately. And our buddy Greggle did an interview with him the other day. So I guess I should start there. Let me go back to what all of this 120 hertz promotion stuff means, because I'm trying to get better at explaining all this stuff to the non-techie people. So if you have an iPhone, any iPhone right now, your iPhone runs at 60 hertz on the display. So it's like I think it's like 60 frames per second, something like that. So that's the normal frequency for displays for most smartphones up until now. This year, manufacturers are starting to double that output. So they're starting to make displays with 120 hertz refresh rates, things like that. Samsung has it on the Galaxy S20 Ultra and the Galaxy S20 lines. OnePlus just released a 120 hertz display with the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro. Actually, I think it was a couple of years ago, Razer released it on some of their phones. Samsung is going to release it later on with the Note 20 and Galaxy Fold 2. And there have been rumors that Apple would finally bring 120 hertz, or what they call ProMotion, to the iPhones this year, even though they've already had the technology on iPad Pros in years past. They never had it on iPhones. It's been rumored that they might include it on iPhones this year. However, according to our buddy Ross Young here, there is some technology called LTPO, and I think it stands for low temperature polycrystalline oxide. Let me break this down for y'all that don't speak nerd. Basically, what LTPO is, it allows those 120 hertz refresh. It allows displays in general to vary their refresh rates, for their refresh rates to fluctuate. So if you have a display that runs at 120 hertz, if it has LTPO, then it can fluctuate between 120 hertz and 60 hertz. Because if you have a display that is constantly running at 120 hertz, you are going to chew through battery life. It's over with. And I can attest to that because on my Galaxy S20 Ultra, I have it locked to 120 hertz, and it does not have that on there, and the battery life takes a nasty little hit. So the upcoming Note 20 phones and Galaxy Fold 2 phones are going to be the first Samsung phones this year that will include the LTPO technology. Now, according to Ross Young, the founder of Display display supply chain consultants, Samsung phones will be the only phones this year with the LTPO technology in them, which would allow for that variable refresh rate at the 120 hertz. So there's been some talk, Greggles, that even though there's a lot of rumors saying that Apple's new iPhones this year will have that 120 hertz promotion, that they may not, because Apple might not be able to implement the technology in their iPhones the way they want to, which is kind of weird because actually when I was doing my research on LTPO, Apple are the ones who actually invented the technology. So it's a little weird. So I'm just curious, what could you gather from the rest of your interview with Ross Young as it relates to what's happening with the 120 hertz Fold 2 Note 20? What can you gather? What can you tell us about that?
It just sounded like from what he was saying that Samsung's going to take the ball and really run with it and use it in their phones and stuff. I guess Apple had used it, and he said in their watches, which then maybe that comes out tomorrow. I can't remember if that was in part 1 or part 2. He said it was in their Apple watches. They used it there first, and then Samsung's going to really run with take the ball and run with it with their new upcoming phones. And it just sounds like more like it's going to help with battery life. For the most part, because of, he said there's going to be about and again, I can't remember if it's part 1 or part 2, but 10 to 15% increase in battery life for 120 hertz display versus one that doesn't have that LTPO technology in it. So you'll get, it's not going to, I mean, 10 to 15% sounds really cool. It's not, but I can't imagine it's going to be leaps and bounds of like, oh my God, this is crazy better. And plus, the way Apple will figure out some back end way to manipulate their technology so it works just as well. Like I'm not that concerned with Apple have 120 hertz display that doesn't have that technology and Samsung having it, because I've seen what Apple does with technology, and they're so smart because they optimize everything with their software and their hardware. It's usually just melts into one. And I think it's cool that Samsung's getting it and has it on their newer phones, and they will have it. That basically when the display's showing the always on display, instead of that still running at 120 hertz, it's only going to run at 1 hertz. So it's not going to use that much battery. Whereas I think he still said phones that don't have it now, like this one is a 60 hertz display. This still, I guess, is running at 60 hertz, even though it's basically an always on display. Right. It's using battery life. So we'll see what kind of battery life improvements it brings. I think more to it though is that people that maybe didn't get the S20 Ultra, because that has 120 hertz, but it only runs at 1080p. That new Note 20 and the new Galaxy Fold 2, they'll be able to do 120 at 2K plus. So they'll be able to get the full resolution with the full, refresh rate without sacrificing really anything else, and paying probably the same price, if not less, than what this phone's worth. So I think that's what most people will buy into if they're a Samsung fan. But yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool technology that Samsung's adding to the Note 20 for sure.
All right, so I got my man Renee Ritchie in the chat. He corrected me. ProMotion is not 120 hertz refresh rate. ProMotion is the ability for the refresh rate to fluctuate to where it needs to be, more or less up and down dynamically. So that is what actual ProMotion means. So obviously, like I said, the iPad Pros of the past have had ProMotion, but those are LCD displays. Those are not OLED. We're talking about adding 120 hertz refresh rate on OLED iPhones this year, which is a completely different technology, which is why there's a thought that if Apple can't get the LTPO technology to work correctly on the OLED side, then the iPhones might not have a 120 hertz refresh rate, or they might pack it in the hardware, but they might nerf it when it gets released to the public, so it doesn't impact battery life.
Yeah, I think if someone doesn't, the other thing I kind of wanted to add is like, I think that if you looked at 60 frame per second video and then 30 frame per second video, that's kind of similar the way it looks to like 120 hertz versus maybe a 60 hertz display. It's not completely 1-to-1, but like the way it looks to your eye, that's kind of how I would sell it to somebody if they're not sure what it looks like.
All right, let's dig a little bit deeper into that, because me and you, we both use 120 hertz phones and we've used 60 hertz phones. If you put them side by side, you really can't see a difference. However, if you use them side by side, you can feel a probable difference. Now, it's not a large difference. It's not major, but if you are using a 60 hertz next to a 120 hertz refresh rate, you will definitely be able to discern a little bit of a difference, not anything major though. I personally think that the whole 120 hertz refresh rate thing is kind of overblown. It doesn't really change the way we use the phone,
Yeah.
but I know other people seem to be pretty excited about it. So which side of the fence are you on, Greg, about the 120 hertz display refresh rate?
I'm with you. I think it is kind of gimmicky in a way. I mean, I don't notice a huge difference. The first time I ever tried it was the Razr. Is it the Razr phone? Razr phone 2?
Yeah, Razr phone.
Razr made it. I think that 120 hertz display, and like I got it, I was like, and like I hear like these huge YouTubers talking about it, like, oh my god, it's game changing. And I used it, I was like, it's not that different. I don't know, it's okay. Like I don't know, it didn't seem like a big deal, and it still doesn't. I like you can feel it when you're just playing with the phone. You feel like it seems snappier and faster, but it could also be because it has a faster processor or something. But I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's not like if I gave it to my mom, she'd be like, what am I seeing? What am I looking at? You're right. So I mean, we're just nitpicky. So maybe we notice it a little bit more. But I agree with you. It's not a huge difference.
Yeah, like I think somebody said in the chat, if more for a gamer can definitely have advantages using a 120 hertz display over a 60 hertz because it allows for more response time, quicker response time, I should say. So if you are using a 120 hertz display when you're gaming and you're gaming against somebody that's using a 60 hertz, then you have an advantage because you can respond quicker to things happening faster on your display. But other than gaming, for the normal everyday average Joe and Jane, I don't think having a 120 hertz refresh rate on their display is going to make a huge difference to the way they use their smartphone.
But do you game on your smartphone, like real games?
No.
I'm not talking about like Candy Crush. Yeah, me neither. I don't really like it. I don't know. I'm not a big gamer on it either.
Yeah, if I'm gaming, I don't want to be on a PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. I don't really game on my smartphone like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so digging a little deeper into your talk with Ross, you guys talked a lot about the Galaxy Fold 2 and the Note 20 and Note 20 Plus. So first, let's start with the Galaxy Fold 2. What can you tell us about the upcoming Fold 2? You are a Samsung guy, so I'm pretty sure you got some thoughts about that.
I have to look at what he said.
You just talked to him. You just talked to him.
Yeah, I know. Yesterday. Well, basically, he just said that. I mean, I think the big takeaways from it are that it's going to have the display will be 120 hertz, which we've kind of milked to death on there. He didn't know. The thing is that, so I didn't know how much he would know personally about the phone. He really knew, and he kind of says it in the interview. He's really knowledgeable about the display side of things. It's going to come with an S Pen based off all the rumors that we've heard about it, which to me is not a huge deal because I honestly, even with the Note phones, I like 99% of the time I never take the S Pen out. But another phone having an S Pen I think is a big sell for it. What else did he say? What else is about it? It's gonna have a punch hole camera instead of a notch cutout, which you can't see on this, but a little, just like it does on the regular Galaxy phones, you'll get that punch hole in the top. I think it's in the top right. I think instead of having a big notch, I think that's a big sell for it. Potentially cheaper. It was the first one sold for what, 1980. There's rumors there'd be 1780 or 1880, somewhere in that ballpark. But then I saw Max Weinbach put out another tweet today who said there's going to be a cheaper version of it, possibly 1099. When I talked to I can't even think of his name now. Ross was what's his name again?
Ross. Yep.
The guy last game, Ross. He was saying that 1099 probably doesn't seem like a real price, just because if you think about the Galaxy Z Flip, that was what, $1,300, and that technology isn't as crazy or as I don't even think as usable as a Galaxy Fold could be. So a 1099 Galaxy Fold seems a little bit out of whack. But I think this is going to be a phone more people want than any other phone. I think that's released this year, because most phones I feel like are kind of boring at this point. They're just slabs of glass with maybe a 120 hertz display and a slightly better camera and a slightly better processor and slightly better charging, and that's pretty much it. So I think this, again, a foldable phone that can turn into a tablet or a skinny little phone, I think more people would be excited about that, especially at a lower price.
Yeah, I myself, I have not yet owned a foldable phone, but I am kind of excited to see what they do with the Galaxy Fold 2. But I want to dig a little deeper into the possible inclusion, or more than likely inclusion at this point, of the S Pen. Now, we had a kind of a controversy about the type of glass that Samsung used on their Z Flip phone, because Samsung, they said it was like ultra thin glass per se, but then our dude Zach from Jerry Rig Everything did the teardown, and we come to find out it's not really all that much a glass. It's more like a hardened plastic or something like that. I mean, I guess in a way it's glass, but it's the glass at the bare minimum. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So if the Galaxy Fold 2 uses this UTG ultra thin glass and it comes with S Pen support, I mean, is it feasible to be able to use an S Pen on that type of material and not damage the display?
I would assume so. I mean, I don't personally know, but I would assume it would. I think that's the other thing he said in this is that it's going to be more glass based, but I know there's still going to be like he or Max, I forget, said it. I think he said it too, that there's still going to be like a film covering over it of some sort. So I still think you're still going to might get some kind of film covering over it to protect the display or protect the body of it so it doesn't mess up like the other ones did with like a little bit of chrome or something. But I mean, but that's the same thing. Like, how many people are actually going to use the S Pen? I would always be curious how many people that buy Note phones actually use the S Pen. Do you think it's 50%? I don't think it is.
Probably not. But but the bigger point though is that if we have this foldable display that's already brittle by default, and you're adding S Pen functionality on this already brittle display, I mean, like I'm just wondering out loud, is it feasible? I mean, when they first came out with the first run of the Galaxy Fold, the damn thing broke in like 48 hours in most reviewers' hands because the display covering came off or the phone hardware wasn't up to the challenges of everyday use and things like that. Now, we know they improved the hardware with the second revision, which came out later on in the year. But now we're here almost a year later. We're at the Galaxy Fold 2. The display itself is still not the toughest. I mean, we're talking about ultra thin glass, which Jerry Rick Everything kind of just massacred pretty easily in his video. But you're talking about adding possible S Pen support on top of ultra thin glass when you got people that will be pressing a pen down probably pretty hard on the glass. And I'm just wondering, Greg, I'm like, yo, is this really going to hold up over time? Like, what are we looking at here?
I don't think, well, let me say this. I think the good thing about Samsung is like they learn from their mistakes. Like, you look at something like the Notes, you look at something like the Note 7 and they kind of did an about face. They put in batteries that were like a lot smaller for a generation or two. And then they went back to these bigger batteries. But I feel like they fixed that issue. And then you look at something like last year with the Galaxy Fold 1, where the reviewers got it and messed up on them. But then when they released the fixed version of it, everything was good. So I think at this point, they probably somewhat play it safe with their devices after they make a mistake. So I think I don't think they're going to release an S Pen that's going to easily break, even if you put pressure on it. On this ultra thin glass, I can't imagine they would. It's such bad press, especially a third time or a second time in a row with the same type of phone. I just can't imagine they would do it. So I think they'll be fine. I can't imagine.
Okay, so if they don't use an S Pen like they use normally, I mean, the S Pen that we are accustomed to is kind of it's not the most generous thing as far as like putting it on the display, kind of like a fine point. So are they going to dull the point maybe to make it more easier on the display? I mean, I'm thinking, I'm curious. We're talking about we're talking about an over $2,000 device coming later this year with brittle glass. So if we're going to put an S Pen, we're going to add S Pen functionality to this brittle glass and charge $2,000 to put a device pinned to glass that might do bad things. I don't know, man. I'm just curious, Greg. I'm wondering, man.
I can't imagine. Do you think they're going to turn it into a marker?
I mean, they almost have to, right? They almost have to.
The S Pen marker, the S marker, they call it the S marker.
Right, or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't personally worry about it. The only thing I would do, and I never get this with any phone. I never buy a warranty or an insurance plan with a phone through my carrier or directly through the company.
Oh wow,
I never do. But this would probably be the first phone I would do.
I would highly recommend you do that. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you could take a chance, but a $2,000 chance with a foldable phone with an S Pen is like, woo! That's like jumping to the fire with no parachute, son. I don't know if you're gonna do that.
It's too scary. It's too scary.
All right, all right. I think we beat the Fold 2 over the head, to death with a dead horse, however the thing goes. But let's talk about the Note 20 and Note 20 Plus. So if I was reading his information correctly, according to Ross Young, he says that the Note 20 will not have a 120 hertz refresh rate, but the Note 20 Plus will. So do you have any more information about the Note 20 and Note 20 Plus?
So just what you said. So it's funny. I did the interview with him, and I think on the interview, I think we say 120 hertz on both of those displays. But then I saw that he tweeted out this morning something different. So yeah, obviously what you said sounds like it's going to be true because he obviously is getting all this information. But other than that information about, I'm trying to think, he obviously gave out the resolution of both the phones, slightly has higher resolution and slightly higher PPIs on both of them. Again, not much, but slightly more than it. He said enhanced S Pen experience, but he didn't really have any information on that. He didn't really know display sizes. He had at least talked about that, but no, it's more like just going over what he had already told me and tweeted out and stuff I had already spoken about. It wasn't really anything that new. So if you don't want to watch tomorrow's video, don't.
Okay, wait. You do not come on a podcast and tell people not to watch your content. We don't do that here, Greg. You're supposed to be encouraging people to watch your content. What are you doing out here?
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just real. No, but no, it's good. It's a good conversation because he dives more into like the technical. He's really technical about everything. And obviously, with the way I talk about it, it's more of like almost at a consumer level, a slightly higher consumer level, for people to like get nerdy about. But he really gets into the weeds with stuff. So that's why it's so cool talking to him on the show and getting his opinion and thoughts on everything.
It's always nice to be able to talk to somebody with inside information on the industry that we cover and things like that. I want to talk about this big thing on the back of this phone I have in my hand. For those of y'all listening on audio only, I'm currently holding the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and the focus that I have on the camera right now on the screen here is the S20 Ultra camera. Now, usually when the Note phone come out, they usually are using the same camera system from the S20 line or the S line that were released early in the year, maybe with a minor upgrade here and there. But we know that this S20 Ultra camera has had its fair share of issues, and it still does, especially with the autofocus. So, Greg, do you think that, between the 6 months between the release of the S20 Ultra and the Note 20 series, will Samsung be able to fix the issue with the camera? Because that's going to be a big thing if they can't do that.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, I've heard two things. I've heard rumors that that Samsung will never be able to fully fix the autofocusing type issues on here. It's always going to kind of be wonky. But then I also heard they are come next month, actually. It's weird because it takes either really nice photos or like blurry photos. Like it has problems on the edges. Center, it's pretty good, but then like just like sometimes I'll want to take a photo of like maybe a phone, and it can't focus on the phone or it can't focus on the card or the lettering on something. So it's a big pain in the ass in that way. But otherwise, yeah. So I guess to break it down, I know you're not asking me this, but I probably wouldn't recommend this phone to almost anybody because it's a pain in the ass. But otherwise, I love it. Like I love everything about it. It charges really fast. The display is awesome. The speakers are good. It takes decent photos, like I said, for the most part. The video is good. The fast charging, the wireless charging, the water resistance. Like I love everything about it. I really do. It's just like the occasional autofocusing issues is enough of a pain in the butt. Plus, it's $1,600.
Yeah,
I got the $1,600 one.
Me too.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So like, even though I had the OnePlus for a little bit. And the OnePlus 8 Pro is a really good phone. I'd probably recommend that phone, even though I like personally the look, feel, and finish of the Galaxy phone better. But it'd be so hard to not recommend people just getting the OnePlus 8 Pro instead, if they can.
All right. So
for Android side.
I find it kind of interesting because I have the same thoughts about the S20 Ultra that you do. I actually love this device. I don't love the camera, but I love the device. If I'm being completely honest, I use this phone more than I use any other phone in my arsenal, even my iPhone, because obviously, with these Android phones, especially with this phone in particular, I get more done with like multitasking and productivity and things like that. So this is pretty much my go-to phone for most days and things like that. However, like you said, the autofocus on the camera is an issue. Like sometimes I'll get great pictures. I mean, when it works great. But when it doesn't work, it looks like a blurry mess, man. Like you said, it's just bad. But if you can get past the camera, and by the way, I'm not saying that you should have to get past the camera. Like you said, this is a $1,600 phone. You should not have to get past the camera. But if you can get past the camera, the rest of the phone is A-okay. But let's talk more about the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro. I don't have those. I don't plan on getting them, but you have had those. So what are your thoughts more and a little bit more depth about those?
Yeah, so I have since gotten rid of it, but it's basically it's not a perfect phone, but it's kind of like the Galaxy phone. The Galaxy phone's like almost a perfect phone if you remove the price and the autofocusing issue. It does like and has everything, and it's like the same thing with the OnePlus 8 Pro, but a lower price. I did prefer the cameras off and on between the two. Like sometimes I like the OnePlus 8 camera over the Galaxy phone camera. It just depends. As for like the displays and stuff, I liked the way the Galaxy display looked better. Performance, it's funny. In the past I would have always chosen the OnePlus 8 Pro to perform better, but I would notice like every so often like occasional like lag, like, and I never get that now with my Galaxy S20 Ultra, the one with 16 gigs of RAM. I never see lag, and I got like just ever so like little bit of stuttering sometimes on the OnePlus 8 Pro. So I don't know. Otherwise, it's a really good phone. I would probably say it's out of all the Android phones I've tried this year, it'd be tough not to call it like either the best, like the best for most people, the best phone to get, because like the price, performance, what you get with it, it's pretty phenomenal.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the OnePlus 8 Pro camera, because that probably has been the biggest like knock against OnePlus phones in the past into camera. So are you saying that the camera is kind of caught up a little bit with the Samsungs and the iPhones and the Pixels of the world, or do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
okay.
like when I did my comparison video, there was times that I was like, oh, the OnePlus looks better than the Galaxy phone. I guess the thing that kind of turned me off is I will use my phone sometimes to shoot vlogs or to shoot videos with my own stuff. And I didn't like that the front camera wasn't 4K on the OnePlus. It was only a 1080/30, I think. It might have been 1080/60, but like I could notice the difference between those two. Like it looked a lot better, I felt, on the Galaxy phone. But the back cameras I felt were pretty close with each other. Definitely not $600 difference for sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I have a OnePlus 7 Pro, and the camera it was definitely hit or miss. The one thing about OnePlus though is that with the OnePlus 7 Pro anyway, they will constantly update that phone almost every week trying to fix the camera. But with the OnePlus 8 Pro, like that, I've never had that device, so I don't know. But it sounds like coming from you that the camera has been vastly improved, so that's a good look for OnePlus.
Yeah, I didn't have the OnePlus 7 Pro. I played with my friends for a little bit, but so I can't really compare it to that one. But yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't like. Don't get me wrong, it's not the best camera ever, but like I think it definitely competes with the big boys. I don't think you would at times. Sometimes it doesn't look as good. Don't get me wrong, but like I think maybe 75 to 85% of the time it'll definitely compete with the big boys for sure. So I would have been happy with it if I had to keep it for sure.
Well, for an $899 price tag, I sure the hell hope it could compete with the big boy. I can charge a big boy price, and so man, what is going on? Woo! Okay, so
for sure,
you made a comment about the OnePlus 8 Pro, how you felt like it is a good enough recommendation for most people. Let's talk about my recommendation that is good enough for most people. A phone I think that you have, the iPhone SE 2020. What are your thoughts on this bad boy?
I sold mine already, but because I knew I wasn't. Well, no. I knew I wasn't going to keep it. I have an iPhone 11, and
okay.
I'll tell you what. So I'll tell you. I already did a review on it, but basically a short review on it. For me, I'm 40 years old. The screen is too small for me. I can't. I'm like. I mean, I can see it. But I'm like. Yeah, I'm like. I can't see it. It's a little bit too small for my eyes. Like, I think it's really good. It's not good for your mom or your grandmother. I mean, it is in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong. But like the screen's too small. It's good for kids. It's good for people that have really good eyesight. I love that it had wireless charging. It has water resistance. The camera is definitely decent enough to take everyday photos, to pass and be good enough for Instagram and Facebook. And it's fast. You can play games on it. Like you can play Fortnite at high 60 frames per second, which a lot of kids do. So I think it's like the perfect phone for like probably people that are 30 and under that don't want to spend a lot of money and don't want a big ass screen. I think it's perfect for them. But anybody over 30 or over 40, whatever, you start losing your eyesight, it's not a good phone. It's just too small. But it's a great phone. It's freaking awesome.
You know what? Like I said, I completely agree with you. I love the phone. I think it's a great device, but it's not for me. The screen is way too small on the SE. Way too small.
Yeah, it is. I think the iPhone 11's a perfect size. Like, it's a perfect mixture of like being small, but also being large enough and not being bulky. And like, I don't know. And the price is not that bad. I think it starts at $699. So
Right.
That's an awesome phone too. Yeah.
Yeah, 6.1 inches definitely a more enjoyable size for me and you as opposed to the 4.7 inch SE. Like,
Yeah.
like
What do
yes,
you think? What do you think the best phone over 500 is?
the best phone over 500.
Like for me, I would probably say the iPhone 11.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, probably iPhone 11 or maybe. I mean, some people could even look at the 10R maybe, but yeah, the iPhone 11 probably the best
Oh
phone right
well,
now.
okay. I meant new
Oh
phones, newer
yeah,
phones.
iPhone 11 definitely.
That's a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of phones that both me and you currently have that are we're looking at right now. We got the TCL 10 series here. I'm talking about, of course, the TCL 10 Pro and the TCL 10L. Let's start with the 10L. Um, this phone shocked the hell out of me. This is a
Yeah.
$250 phone with a 6.5-inch display, 1080p, has all the bells and whistles of your higher price flagships, and it runs pretty smooth, decent cameras. What are your thoughts on the 10L? Because I think it's pretty good.
Dude, it's awesome. It's like the one thing I actually like, and I say this in a couple of my videos that I made. I haven't released them because I don't think we're able to. Because
Right.
I was going to say XDA, but
Embargo.
NDA.
We're on embargo.
embargo. Yeah. I actually love the software implementation they do on this. It's like basic, vanilla Android with
Yep.
like tons of customizations, and like they don't get in the way. They're not bulky. There's only a handful of apps on here that were installed that you probably might not want. I think Facebook is one of them, but most people use Facebook, and Netflix. I can't remember what they are, but it's like other than that, there's no bloatware on here. The cameras are a little bit oversaturated at times, I feel like. And then the one thing I don't like about this phone, I'm like giving a whole review, but the cameras are too hot. Like you talk and it's like, if you talk too loud, which I do, it bleeds. Like it's just, they need to put an update out for that. But otherwise, this phone's awesome. $250. Like I usually don't play with budget phones, or if I do, they're not that good. They like suck. This thing's awesome. Like this is like a perfect phone for your mom, your dad, someone that doesn't need to like, I'm trying to think this. I mean, like anything you do, you'll be happy with this because it even has a headphone jack. And it has, this one doesn't have the IR blaster, but that's awesome. This phone's freaking awesome.
It's so funny. It's funny that you said that you don't usually play with budget phones. I don't either, but I have a pretty good relationship with TCL, so they sent them out. But I enjoy the phone. This phone's amazing. I think one of my favorite parts of this phone, Greg, is something that's vastly underrated right now, and that is the completely flat front display. It is completely flat.
I love that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes.
That's the one thing I love too. I love that. It's
like
it makes it feel so much larger, right? Like you're getting so much more real estate.
But my favorite part about a flat screen is just the typing experience. It's so much more comfortable to type on a flat display. And also with having a flat display, you don't get that screen distortion that you do with curved edges and those accidental touches. Yes. Typing on this phone is a joy.
I love it. Yeah. I wish I know it's like and this screen's like, it's like not too big, but it's big. Like you still get 6.53 inches, 1080p plus. The one thing I do wish it was a little bit brighter too outdoors. It's not like when I look at it right on the screen right here, it looks fine. But like when you bring it outdoors, it's a little bit not bright. I love bright displays.
Yeah.
I wish it was a little bit brighter.
Yeah, I agree. The brightness level is pretty much non-existent on that phone. But
like if my mom knew how to use an Android phone, I would recommend this.
Oh, absolutely. Like I mean, for $250, that phone is a great value for a lot of people. But then we have the 10 Pro with the curved edges, and like I said, I'm not really a fan of the curved edges at all. But the back of the phone, the finish, whatever finish they have going on the back, is amazing. It's beautiful, kind of slippery, but it's beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of funny to me because on the 10L, there's a massive camera bump, but on the 10 Pro, it's practically non-existent.
Yeah, dude, totally. I know. I was just doing a comparison video, and I'm like, I should have looked at it closer. I didn't realize how much the camera bumps stick out. this one's huge camera bump.
Massive.
The one thing I'm glad they also gave, this isn't the case for it, but they do give you a case for the phone. I love when companies do that.
Yeah.
OnePlus always does that. I wish Samsung did it. They don't do it, but I wish they would.
Yeah, I mean,
but they did with the
Fold,
flip
right?
phone. Yeah.
The Z Flip 2. Okay, yeah, I know that. I think they gave one with the Fold too, but yeah, the 10 Pro runs like a champ. Like it's kind of funny because when I first used the 10L, I'm like, wow, the 10L is snappy, it's fast, and it's fluid. Then I started playing with the 10 Pro. I'm like, it's like twice as fast as the 10L. Like, wait, how did they do that? Like, it's
well, it does have a better processor, slightly
Yeah.
better processor. But yeah, it's definitely smoother. I definitely noticed like it doesn't. The 10L will sometimes stutter up a little bit. This one I haven't really noticed any stuttering with it. This one's what 450, I think it is.
450, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there's some things that I wish that that are different in terms of like to make it $200 price difference, but it's tough to not recommend just people get this one, the 250 one. General for most people.
Yep.
That don't want to spend money. So
yeah, but the curved edges. I mean, obviously, they're both OLED, but I think no, the 10L is not OLED. This is OLED.
Yeah.
But in curved, I mean, you got that. It has the in-display fingerprint sensor. The 10L has the fingerprint sensor on the back. The fingerprint sensor on there is okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I mean, it works. It is what it is. The display is definitely brighter on here than on the 10L, so I like the fact that it's better. It has more brightness to it. But yeah, this is a great phone. Like you said, these TCL phones, the software, I think they call it TCL UI. It is very light. It's almost like stock Android, but like you said, there's a lot of tweaks and customizations that you can make to make it your own. And the smart key, yes, the smart key is a game changer. Oh, you got a flashlight. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I
love it. I wish more people like I say this in the video, I actually think their implementation of how they created their little skin over Android, I don't know if it's the best because this like I think Samsung's is really good, but like I think some of the smart button and a lot of the customizations they add in here, like it's actually my number 1 or number 2 favorite skin of Android, which is kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, considering it's practically a brand new skin of Android, but yeah, the skin is legit, man. Run smooth, very light, not too heavy, bunch of little tweaks and customizations. Yeah, definitely enjoying the TCL 10 Pro. For their first smartphone out of the gate, they are coming for everybody's neck, as I keep saying on these podcasts. TCL is coming, man. I know a lot of people haven't heard of TCL, but they are a very big company across the globe, and they are formally getting into the smartphone game. And these first 2 entries are rock solid, and they are going to do very well, especially given their pricings and things like that. So be on the lookout for TCL in the future. They're only getting better. I think they had some foldables at CES too. I think you saw, right?
Yeah, they did. But I'm trying to think. They were. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I got to play with it. No, it was like behind a glass case. They were prototypes, so they weren't really. Yeah, I definitely didn't get to play with it. They let me play with in a back room. They let me play with these 2 phones and the 5G version. They have a 5G phone too.
Right. Yep.
That's coming out. So I get to play with all those in a back room. It's funny that we're talking about TCL at I was there. I saw them at CES, and I had no appointments with them or anything. But eventually, I saw someone else who was there that was friends with them. And I went up to them and I ended up starting to talk, and they were like the nicest people, so cool, the TCL folks. Yep. And they followed through in everything they said. Hey, we'll keep in contact with you. You know, we'll send you phones. We'll do this for you. Everything they have said they would do, they have done. Such a upright, nice company that has really followed through with everything. Like so many companies that I'll meet or work with that are so far behind or lost or just aren't on the ball, and TCL's been nothing but like amazing. Like, and I'm not just saying that because they sent me a phone. Like, they've been on the ball. They've been awesome.
No, I mean, my relationship with TCL has been brief. I mean, I think they sent me an Alcatel phone a few months ago, but they just sent me these new phones, and they're lovely, man. Like you said, they're on the ball with their emails. They give you all the information that you need. They tell you what you need to know. I mean, they even gave us this big nice reviewer guide with these phones, and I'm like, I like this reviewer guide. It's pretty cool. But
I love it. Yeah, even them just giving they'll give this is kind of behind the wall for people that don't do tech reviews. Like they give you a PDF, a Dropbox link, and you have all the information on there with the fact information and tips and tricks and like just everything that you could possibly want to know about the phone. It's there. I've never gotten anything close to that from other companies. I mean, somewhat close, but nothing like this in depth. It was amazing.
Yeah, TCL is definitely legit. I'm looking forward to their offerings coming in the future and things like that. So, Greg, we got a bunch of phones coming this year. Is there any phone in particular that you're looking forward to the most coming later this year, or which maybe it's already out? I don't know.
I probably already gave it away. It's the Galaxy Fold 2. I didn't get the Galaxy Fold 1. I did have a pre-order for it. I would have kept the pre-order for it, but then they canceled on me because remember the whole tech issue thing. So I ended up getting I think I got like a $300 gift certificate for free from Samsung because they canceled my order. So I got, or $200 something for free. So I didn't buy that phone then because it was issues and it was expensive. And I said, screw it. But that Galaxy Fold 2, I'm like 90% sure I'm going to buy it and get it and see if it fits into my lifestyle or not. But that's the phone I'm most excited about because of it basically having every feature that the Galaxy S20 should be able to have. Maybe not water resistance, but it should have a beautiful display with 120 hertz. It should have 5G, which to me is not that big a deal, but it'll have 5G. Wireless charging I would assume is going to be in there. I don't know. I'm just excited about that phone. I've always wanted a phone that was like huge display and like, I don't know. It just seems very exciting. So that phone, I am excited to try out the new iPhones as well, to see what they bring to the table. And from what we know so far from John releasing everything every day. So I'd go with that phone. Those are the two. I mean, Note 20, I'm excited, but not that excited because I don't think it's going to be much of a difference versus the S20. What about you? What are you excited about?
I'm like you, man. I'm really excited for the Fold 2. I want to see what improvements they make. I want to see what features they put into it. I've never had a foldable phone. Not sure if I'll be able to go get a Fold 2, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table anyway. Definitely looking forward to the Fold 2. I mean, with iPhones, you pretty much know what you're gonna get. I will be interested to see if Apple can implement the 120 hertz refresh rate on the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max. 5G, I agree with you. Still too early for 5G. Not a big deal yet. But the Fold 2 is definitely the phone I'm looking forward to most this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, I just hope they can price it a little bit less. I really don't want to spend $2,000. I mean, I always do, I just end up like selling phones that I'm not using or don't want or don't need to cut into the cost. Like I definitely, once the Note comes out or the Fold or whatever, without a doubt, I'll get rid of this phone. There's no way I'll keep the S20. I mean, people like these huge YouTubers that make, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. They do. It's like not people that don't know those guys do. There's no way Marquez has that amazing studio without making probably over $1 million. So like someone like him, he can keep all these phones or he gets them for free. So like, but someone like me or you, we have to sell our stuff. We have to upgrade to the next thing. So some people always ask like, how do you get all this stuff? It's like, sometimes I get it for free, but a lot of times I'm just selling my stuff on eBay or Swappa and using that money to buy another phone.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yo, how are you holding up with the current events of the world, man? You guys doing okay over there in San Diego?
Honestly, I'm a total homebody anyway. So like, this is like my life personally is like not changed at all. If we go out to eat, it's usually takeout anyway. I do most of my grocery shopping online anyway. I do most of my shopping for clothes and tech and whatever it is online. So like that stuff's not different. The only difference really, honestly, is that my wife is home more. Like instead of her working 5 days a week, they dropped her down to 3 days a week and 2 days a week. She still gets paid full-time hours, but she only has to go to work for like 15 hours a week. So like I see her a lot more often. But other than that, it's like it's my life isn't that changed. We're doing okay. What about you?
I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. I used to have to go to a office building every day to work. Obviously, I don't do that. I'm fortunate enough to be able to work from home. So we've transitioned into working from home. So been working from home for the foreseeable future. I think they're trying to go back to the office in June. I don't know if that's going to happen, given that we haven't really made any significant developments with fighting the virus yet. So not sure if that's going to happen. But yeah, working from home, doing the YouTube thing. But I'm like you. Besides not going to the office every day, my life hasn't changed much. I mean, all I do is go to the office and come home and do YouTube anyway. The only time I go out is like to get groceries and gas, and that's pretty much about it. So my life has not changed. Working from home actually suits me. It saves me a ton of money from having to drive and pay for parking. So I prefer being able to work from home. Please, can we have some more? Thank you very much.
Do you live in the city?
I live in the suburb, but I work in the city.
Okay.
So yeah, this working from home stuff it aligns with my lifestyle. So I don't have a problem with this at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No doubt. But Greggles, pleasure having you on the podcast, man. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a pleasure for me to. It's an honor, honestly. You've had so many amazing people on here, so just to be one of those people is awesome.
Man, thank you. But before we go, let the people know where they can find you.
GregglesTV. Look at my name right there. Oh, you can't see it if you're listening. GregglesTV, GREGGLES TV, everywhere on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere and everywhere. GregglesTV. That's mine.
I'm sorry. Every time I think about Greggles, it still cracks me up just a little bit. Greggles. It's so unique. It's so unique.
I know so many people have the word tech in their name or whatever. I don't know. So hopefully it stands out a little bit. Yeah.
For those of y'all watching on the live stream, thank you for watching on the live stream. I appreciate you guys supporting. If you super chatted, if you brought me a coffee, or if you're a channel member, thank you for all of that. Definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me. If you want to support the podcast, again, you guys have the option to super chat, become a channel member. You can buy me a coffee. That link is in the description, all that good stuff. If you're listening on audio only and you want to support the podcast, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. Again, none of this stuff is required, but anything that you can do greatly helps the podcast. Also, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people discover VypDrive. I think this is a pretty good podcast. I think most of you do too, because the podcast is steadily growing week after week. So I appreciate all of that. But me and Greggles is out of here. I will be back next week. Next guest will be Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy. So for those of y'all watching on YouTube, we'll be back here live tomorrow. And for those of y'all listening audio only, Juan will be the next podcast. But I almost forgot. Before I go tonight, for those of y'all watching on the YouTube, your boy Viper's not done tonight. I told you all earlier. This is a double hitter of a different kind tonight. Last night there were 2 VypDrive episodes. Tonight there's a VypDrive episode, and then there's the Painfully Honest Tech podcast, which I co-host every Tuesday night. I think we have John Prosper and Brian Shue from Front Page Tech on the show tonight as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So that podcast starts at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Painfully Honest Tech YouTube channel. So if you guys want to come hang out with me, Zach, Jason, John, and Brian, feel free to do that. We'll be there chopping it up. But me and Greg, once again, we out of here. So until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more. You try to break my concentration, Greg. You break my concentration. You try to break my concentration, Greg.
It worked.